Welcome back, my friends, to the first update for the ECSIM panel, E.S.P. Since our first introduction video some 5 weeks ago, it has gotten over 4,000 views. I don't know how many of you have ended up building your own EC panels. Perhaps one or two. If you have, this video is for you. I'll be doing a show and tell of the new stuff. Revisiting a list of features that I put up from last time, it had 3 TBD items, an optional Rotary Encoder, and 2 are related to customization. This update will address all 3. Let's start with the encoder. Starting from our rather simple schematic diagram from the past, we do need a new one, but it's still very easy to do. And given the chip yellow display board, still no soldering required. That is because the board has this connector, P4. And in the kit that I bought, it includes a 4-pin cable tailor-made for our application. So all you need to do is to plug one end to the P4 connector on the board. The 4 pins go to the encoder, update the firmware, and start twisting and turning. What can a single encoder do, you ask? After you have enabled it in the config page, you can use it to adjust the display brightness. And back on the situation page, you'll notice a tiny green triangle. That is the indicator showing you which parameter is currently controlled by the Rotary. Now it is adjusting the autopilot heading. Touch the numbers for the barometer setting. The green arrowhead moves over. And now you are setting the altimeter. On the situation page, there are 8 items that are adjustable by the encoder. On the other pages, such as the autopilot page, there is that green triangle again. And on the option page, it too has the triangle. In this case, it is used to set the hour and minutes for the sim, like this. So you have seen how the encoder operates. I will again stress that this is optional. Without installing one, you will still be able to manipulate all the settings. You decide whether to add one or not. For our next feature, I'm afraid you have to do some work in order to take full advantage of it. Then again, it is also optional. This update will begin to support customization based on aircraft. There are 3 different aspects to it. We'll go over the customization 1, 2, and 3 in the rest of this video. First, there are now a number of objects on the situation page that can morph their behaviors depending on the particular aircraft. These objects are highlighted here. As you have noticed, they are all related to the autopilot. 8 buttons and 4 number settings in all. The 4 buttons on the left are now flexible so that you can modify their labels and to assign them to control switches and lights from the cockpit of your choice. These on the left are limited to speed, heading, altitude, and VS. It is possible to change the flight sim variables associated with them. So if there is a new aircraft comes into your hangar and the vendor chooses to use non-standard sim variables to hold its autopilot heading, then you can try to match that without writing any code, just by editing a text file. That is where the SD card slot located right on the display board comes in handy. You can add your customization in a text file, save it on an SD card. The ECSIM panel will read that and put them into action when it detects that particular aircraft is loaded. I won't go into details here since there are a few pages of instructions and examples in the how to use PDF. Next, the devices pages itself has been enhanced. All the buttons on this page are now programmable, if you will, just like those autopilot buttons you saw previously. In the same way, through the SD card, you can redefine the operations of each of the 15 buttons. And what's more, there are now 4 banks of customizable buttons, making a total of 60 user-definable buttons. And that's not all, because the customization can be aircraft dependent. So you have in practice 60 buttons per aircraft, if you really want to go crazy on customization. Okay, back to the buttons. In this bank, we have a few buttons here that are configured for the Asobo Cessna 172. For example, the magneto button here has been configured as a 2-position button that lets you turn the 172's ignition key left and right. Hey, check this out, you can even assign the rotary encoder to control it. By the way, you can check back in the option page to verify what aircraft is recognized by the E.S.P. And the SD card icon here shows you that your SD card has indeed been read. The truth is there is a learning curve on how to create your own configuration file, depending on how much you already know about the SIM interface variables. So what if you don't want to have anything to do with the SD card? No problem. A distribution version of the customization file is stored in the E.S.P file system. Without an SD card, you will still get the basic functionality like the ones you saw. We have come to the last new feature, introducing the EC button. The E.S.P is now capable of sending out button codes that you can bind to the Microsoft Flight Sim operations of your choice. Do you know that your E.S.P has just become a Bluetooth-enabled button box? Again, you can define any of the buttons on these banks to send button code. Works much like the buttons on your joystick. Beamed wirelessly to the PC. I'm sure you're already quite familiar with binding and making use of button codes. In summary, the customization effort in the EC SIM panel is about giving the user the means to adapting the existing items on the panel to be more compatible with non-standard aircraft. But keep in mind, there's a limit of what you can do short of writing firmware. Okay, wake up, we are done here. If you have slept through all that, everything is documented in the How to Use PDF. You can find the default devices.txt file in the new SD folder for reference. Thank you for watching. Be seeing you.